We talk a lot about baby showers, and do you need 40 onesies? I know the baby shoes are really cute, but do you need shoes? No, what you might need is pelvic floor PT, a postpartum doula. Like, could we think outside the box and start registering for like supportive services for the mom instead of the baby, right? The babies need a car seat, a safe place to sleep, a way to be fed, but they don't need all the stuff. Like moms need support. Plan for that before the baby's.
Hey guys, thanks for joining the live. I appreciate you coming by to talk with me and Miss Kelly Cox from Share the Drop. I'm just waiting for her to come on. Hey, I see you. Let's try this again. I don't know what happened there.
We did it.
We did it. I mic'd up this time. I figured, let me try something a little different. You have a ton of snow in the background.
I know, and it's still coming down. I think it started in the middle of the night, and I haven't been outside yet, but it's beautiful.
Oh my goodness, it looks like it's beautiful. I mean, that's like the perfect spot to get a great view from New York. And now I'm in Georgia, so I haven't seen snow like that in years.
I am in Central Virginia, and we get it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and it's beautiful.
Exactly. I miss it a little bit. I'm learning to appreciate going outside in a vest in the wintertime versus like completely bundled up.
Yes.
So it is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. We can go ahead and jump right in. I'm so excited to get to talk to you, Miss Kelly Cox. So for those that don't know you, share a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to build the app.
Well, I have been working with women kind of during their childbearing years for the last 20 years. I owned and operated a pre- and postnatal yoga studio for a decade. We had to close during COVID. I'm a birth doula. I travel to train other yoga instructors how to teach prenatal yoga. And I'm a breast cancer survivor. So all of those things kind of wrapped into one led me to Share the Drop. So Share the Drop is a web app that connects any family or any woman who has excess breast milk to any family that needs it. I started my career as a mental health professional. And so when I kind of pivoted and started working with women, I can help them feel better in their bodies through prenatal yoga. I attend births quite a bit. But I was always like thinking about what was going on with them mental health wise. Were they struggling to get pregnant? Had they had losses before? What were those first couple months of postpartum going to look like? And I really started to key in on this idea that breastfeeding is not the most natural thing you're ever going to do. We kind of have this idea that just because we have breasts, like it's going to be so easy. And then moms know that it's not always that easy. And so I was kind of always behind the scenes sourcing breast milk for people. Clients would come in and say, my freezer is overflowing with milk and I don't know what to do with it. Or other people would come to me and say they couldn't produce for whatever reason. And so I was constantly sending them to these very popular Facebook groups, and they came back all the time and said, this is the clunkiest process. It takes a while to, have your post admitted. And then it's like forum based. So people were posting messages and then just on top of each other and everything was getting lost. And so I was like, well, I'll just help you get milk. And then when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was very open about that in my community because I worked with women and talked to them about how amazing and resilient their bodies are. So I was wildly open with that. And then at that point, other survivors in my community just were flocking to me like, hey, I also want to have access to breast milk. And so I was like, well, I'll figure out a way. And so we closed the studio during COVID, and I'm not very good at being idle. And so I just jumped in. I've had this idea in my mind that we could make this process smoother. And so that's where Share the Drop came from.
I love what you said there. I love how the system is what prompted you to get started. The problem was this is something that's needed, but it's the system and the clunkiness and the ease of use. And then, of course, with COVID, have the time, I have awareness, I have the community, and you were able to put that together. So for you personally, what was the experience for you while going through your medical transitions?
Well, this is a very interesting thing about my story is I don't have children. I never considered having children. I kind of knew that my role as a mother was going to be in a different way. And so I had have time to be with women so often or go attend births because I don't have children. And so I'm kind of a workhorse. I don't like not having anything to do. And so once I kind of decided this is what I was going to do, I just jumped in. And I am the least tech savvy human maybe you'll ever meet. So all my friends and family are like, oh, this is interesting. But it was also COVID. And so we had to find someone to create an app. I couldn't create it. We actually never met. I've never met anyone on my app development team because we were doing everything from afar. Everything was remote. And so the process of getting it built was about 1.5 years. It was a lot. And yeah, I have a great team in DC, which is just a couple hours away from me. Still haven't met them. They manage everything for me and they're great. But it's been really difficult to like build a national brand. Like that's why I love anyone who will talk to me about this. But I'm really, really proud of it. And I get really lovely messages from people. I, of course, want to always help any other breast cancer survivor have access to this if this is what they want, but also thinking outside the box of anyone who is raising a baby and doesn't have the ability to produce milk. I mean, people who adopt or use a surrogate or extended family members who are raising babies, gay couples who don't have the physiology, like they can't make milk. And so I'm really proud that like thinking outside the box of it's not just moms, it's anyone who wants breast milk for a baby and they can't produce it.
This is innovation on another level. At the time when I had my daughter, I had a really hard time producing milk. My son, he was all over me with the milk, but it still was difficult. That's why as soon as I saw your post and your site, everything about what you're doing is so powerful because so many people struggle from day one throughout the entire journey. And people really want to go for 2 and 3 years with breastfeeding their babies and don't have the supply. Once they get into the app, what's the process?
So it's like a dating app for families. So I don't know if you've ever had that experience being on a dating app. I have, and I was like, oh, this is not for me. But it's kind of how I came up with it. So I talk about dating your donor. So it's just like anything else where you meet someone online. Both parties fill out a profile, age of baby, what their diet's like, do you drink caffeine, all of these things. We ask donors upon onboarding, are you willing to share any recent lab work? And of course, we never upload that to the app. But we do, if they say yes, we put a little medical icon on their profile so recipients know they can ask to see that. But it's literally like, hey, who's your pediatrician? What is your dietary intake? Do you have any, do you have milk that your baby maybe won't drink because of high lipase? Or all those questions. I have a neonatologist on my board of advisors, and he said in the very beginning, he said, the questions you should ask someone before you take their breast milk are the same questions you should ask before you sleep with someone.
Wow.
So it's all informed consent. Like I'm not going to go onto a dating app now, meet someone and then go, meet them later in 2 hours and sleep with them. Like I understand that happens, but it's like you can make this as safe as you want to, right? So if you and I matched and I was looking for donor milk, I would want to see, hey, do we have any friends in common? So the key feature is everyone creates an account using their zip code because I want you to find milk timely. And, babies can't wait for milk to be shipped. But also I want you to meet other families in your own community and build some community support. And so, I'd be like, did you go to prenatal yoga? Did you use a doula? Like trying to see, do we have anyone in common? Because it's, that's, if I'm going to go on a date with someone, I'm going to find out from my friends, does anyone know? I'm going to ask questions about them, right? And then I would want to know, like, how much caffeine do you drink? Are you on any medications? And it's doing your due diligence, and making sure that it's a good fit for you. I recommend, like as a company, we don't get involved in matches. We don't store it. We don't ship it. But I want you to just ask the questions that make you feel good. I want you to meet in public. And if I'm going to come get milk from you, I would want you to bring your chubby baby with these rolls, right? And be like, oh, if this baby's growing like this, I should feel pretty good about it. But it's all about making smart choices. I'm going to ask you, how do you sterilize your parts? How do you freeze your milk? All of those things that I know. If I'm going to get milk from someone, I'm going to do my research about questions to ask. And we have on our website screening questions and just kind of some ideas. But it's really about making sure it's a safe match for you, and then going and meeting another kind person and getting milk for your baby.
Is there ever a time when women can't match or it's not a fit? Like, what does that process look like?
So we don't, you have to agree to our terms of use. And the biggest one is you don't have any transmittable diseases, because clearly you couldn't donate for that. No, it's like, I want you to talk about what medications you're on as a donor. And then it's my due diligence as someone getting the milk to do that research. Is that okay for my baby? I mean, you could have babies who have a dairy allergy, and so they couldn't get milk from someone who is consuming dairy. But all of those criteria are in all your filters. And so it's really like, and in fact, so we're still growing. You might not find donors right away. And the more filters you have, of course, it's going to lower your pool of donors available. But if I knew my baby had a dairy allergy, that's one of the things I would pick. And it would only show me people whose milk I could safely take.
Are you in the US only, or is it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it international?
That's really kind of legality of doing things online and having an app. So I would be open to expanding. Right now it's the US only. And I'll tell you, well, I'm the entire C-suite. The whole company is just me. And so I kind of have my hands full.
I can imagine.
The other thing that's going on right now is, so we never pay donors for milk ever, because I think as soon as you open up the door to monetize breast milk, people can sell you anything, and that's how babies get sick. I very much appreciate how much time and effort goes into pumping and storing, but we have to keep babies safe. So that's our number one safety feature. Recipients can replace bags and things like that. But I want it to be super simple and available to everyone. So we don't pay donors. Recipients can go on and make an account for free. You never have to pay until you find donors in your area that you want to message and match with. And it's $19.99 a month. I waive that fee for anyone who is WIC or SNAP eligible. And so what's been happening in the recent last month is I've had an influx of SNAP beneficiaries reaching out to have free access to the app, which is great. But I don't have enough donors for them. And so that's something I'm always committed to doing, especially what's going on with, SNAP benefits. And I think now they're back up, but still, anytime someone can't afford it, they should have access to it, because I just think that's the way to do business.
There's definitely a lot of restrictions that I've been hearing with the benefits. Even now that it's reinstated, there's a lot going on, whether you're working or how many hours you're working. I saw one creator, she was showing how much formula is now, and my son is 5. It's like $60
Yeah.
for one can. Like, we would go through that in a week, maybe less,
Yeah.
especially if we wasted any, he fell asleep, any of those things. Like, it's rough. And my thought is to have an option that's healthy. This is brilliant. this is
I agree.
This is brilliant. What is your marketing strategy, and how do you reach your donors and help them to find you and know that this is available?
I've really found, word of mouth, because moms just talk about everything. They talk about what they're buying for them, their kids, what they're feeding their kids, what they're putting on their kids. All moms do is talk. So that's who I need to know. I need all the moms to know about me. But I've really been focused on creating more professional or relationships with other professionals. So lactation consultants, I want all the lactation consultants to know who I am. Birth doulas, postpartum doulas. I'm in a really great networking group with other professionals around kind of fertility issues, pregnancy, postpartum, and we collaborate all the time. I think that the best way to do business is to do business with other humans. I might be the only one working on this, but those professional relationships, when you learn what other people do and you have so much respect for them, then it's my job when I meet another professional to just go wildly talk about them behind their backs in a kind way, right? Because we have to, it's a village, it takes a village to raise the village. And so just opportunities to talk to someone like you is it's just one more voice who knows about me, which is what I need.
and the opportunity to just spread it as wide as possible. And let me go back a little bit. Thank you so much for what it is that you're doing, because you're not a mom. So it's not like you've had the experience, but you've had cancer. So you have a real empathy for people. This is very powerful. I'm personally grateful for your mission. And let's just talk about that a little bit. Like, what's your personal mission? Like, what is fulfillment? What is success for you as you continue to move on in building the app?
Um, I really believe in community. It's just at the heart of everything I do. When I had my yoga studio, I mean, for a decade, I would watch women come sit on their mat, their first time in class, and then come back and sit next to the same women, and then start talking, and then leave. And I watched this whole community of women where I live grow to be like the big village. Like I still run into women who are like, oh, my kid is 12 and I'm still best friends with, Cecilia. Like, and it's just, I don't think we're so transient. Like, we don't raise babies in community with our aunties and sisters and grannies next door. But where I live, we raise them with our best friends. Like, I have seen almost all of my best friends enter the world at the same time as their parents do. I take those relationships very seriously. They're my kiddos. So people are like, oh, you don't have kids? I'm like, well, I have like 30.
Godmom counts.
And I'm with them all the time. I just think that, like, if we can live in community more, everyone benefits. So yeah, that's like, altruistically, can we just have more little armies of parental support in every community? Because we need each other.
That's so true. In your journey, did you find that you had certain things that you thought were going to be really easy to get it up and going, and then those things that were really difficult to get up and going in the process?
Oh yeah. So I don't have a lot of regrets. But I'll tell you, I have a friend who used to build apps for a living, and he said in the very beginning, Kelly, do not waste the time or the money to make a mobile app. He's like, just make a web app. And I was like, no, I want to be on the app stores. And anyway, he was completely right. When we submitted to Apple and Google Play accepted us immediately. Apple rejected us over and over and over and over again, saying that they couldn't condone the process of informal milk sharing, except they had another app on their platform which does the same, but they pay donors for milk. And so I was so heartbroken. And then I realized, both of those app stores take 30% of any revenue. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I mean, I've invested my own money. I'm not giving away that kind of revenue. And so when we switched and built a web app, it works just as sophisticated and savvy. You can download it to your phone, you get push notifications, but that was a real big learning curve for me. And it makes me think now, like, it's almost like the difference between planning for a birth and planning for a feeding thing. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to pay a lot more attention to the process and how it works. So if I could turn back time, I would make that difference. But it's my business. And so I actually recently pulled myself off Google Play because anyone can use the web app, and it's just smarter for me.
What was your process? And I know you said it took a year and a half to get it up. What was that like?
I mean, I found a great team. I was just because I have so many professional relationships, I just reached out to other people that I knew, and somehow I got introduced to this great company there in DC. It's called Think Nimble, and they really just took everything, worked with me to build the web app. I can email them anytime there's a little problem. I was just so grateful to have this team, and it's just been a really, really good fit. And so, I work a lot from like home, or I go to a coffee shop. So my whole life is just talking to people, Zooming all the time. It's so different because my life before was I would teach 4 yoga classes a day and be holding babies all the time. And so it's been a switch, but I'm very proud.
So from figuring out, okay, I need a team, I don't know tech.
Yeah.
What was the process for you to say, I cannot do this by myself. Did it take you long to figure that out, or were you immediately like, okay, this is what I need to do?
Oh, yeah, I knew I could not do this on my own. Absolutely not. No. I mean, I've built websites in the past and I've done that, but I'm really more of a communicator, a community human. I like to be with other people. So my skill set is in engaging with people and kind of sharing things far and wide. But yeah, I couldn't do any of the tech stuff. That was, I mean, even sometimes still like my one lead designer will send me some message and I'm like, I don't understand this language. Like it's a whole coding, I was like, you have to talk to me like I'm a 12-year-old who doesn't know what an app is.
Fifth grade reading level, please break it down for me.
Yeah,
No,
like,
I'm not techie either, so I get it.
Yeah.
That is so good. My goodness. So now that you have an advisory board, I heard you say that you are the C-suite. So I'm sure that is about 5 roles in addition to being the founder.
Yes.
What is your delegation process like today?
I mean, I'm a very organized human being, and so that helps. I mentioned before I'm in a professional networking group. I never miss those meetings. We talk. I set out time to do Instagram, TikTok lives as much as I can. I mean, I just have lists upon lists, and my laptop has 40 open tabs at all times.
That's really good. I'm glad you said that. So one of the things I talk about a lot is like momentum and being able to get from like idea in your head to getting into action, especially for aspiring mompreneurs, those that are just getting started. What was it like to get that idea from your head and into action? And did you find any resistance on the way? Was it fear? Was it overwhelm?
Overwhelmed, sure, fear. I mean, I sold my house and used that initial money. Like there was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, total fear. Like, will anyone think this is a good idea? Will anyone use it? I was pitching early days to some investors, almost all men, and they would ask, like, why would any woman just give their milk away? And my answer was like, because we're women. We're the mothers. We take care of everyone. Like, and they're just really like, yeah, that makes sense.
Reason.
I could have done something else. And, I'm a licensed therapist. I could have gone back to therapy and made a lot more money. But sometimes you just find the things that you should do because you see the need and you're in a position where you can help. That's basically it. I mean, I would be so bored if I was in an office all day. I love the fact that I get to talk to people about this. I love the fact that I can be really open and honest about my cancer journey. And for me, in terms of my career serving me, I'm proud. And every time someone says, oh my gosh, I just got milk, I'm so proud. Like, I'm not anti-formula whatsoever. And no one needs to breastfeed or use breast milk if they don't want to. I just want to have another option for families. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question at all.
You definitely did. Are you able to still be a doula, or are you working on the app full time? How do you involve all of your passions into what it is that you're doing so you don't feel like you're missing out, or like you're giving too much in one area?
I'm still a doula. I'm on call right now. I take I'll do maybe 6 births this year. Usually it's people I know and love. It's for friends, or I'll do repeat clients, but I am still a doula. I teach prenatal yoga a couple times a week because I love being in a room with pregnant women. I taught on Wednesday night and we were just dying laughing. I mean, pregnant women are so great. And when you get them in a room together, it's just this magic. And so I do still have that. And I just can't give it up because I love it so much. But yeah, the app is full time.
That's amazing. What are you most excited for next as you grow, as you build? What do you see as your next phase?
Well, I just want everyone in the entire country to know this exists. That's all. That's what I want. I would love it to spread so that I could bring on someone. I'm not the most social media savvy. I just do it because I have to do it. I would love to hire someone for that. I would love to employ women. When I had my yoga studio, I had maybe 10 other women who worked with me. That makes me happy and proud. I don't ever think that I'm the end all be all. Like women working in tandem is beautiful. So I would love to have enough profit that I could bring on some other wonderful women. I If I ever really made it big, I would love to have a foundation where I give, not loan, give money to women for year one. Because when I was asking for investment, they're like, oh, come back to us after year one and tell us how you're doing. I'm like, well, I'm a woman self-funding this. Like I need to get through year one. And so if someone could come to me and say, hey, I have this idea and I've really thought it out and they're so passionate, I would love to be able to be in a position to give female founders seed money and just be like, go do it. That would be, I think, so much fun.
You're speaking to my heart personally because that is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think it's so important for women, especially as our children are watching us. My daughter is 14, my son is 5. As they're watching me build, they're able to see the times that mom, I don't have it right now, and some days I've literally invested all into the business. I too am building a platform
Yep.
and it has been a long, painful journey. I mean, I started in 2023 and am I still here? But, it's a part of the journey, it's a part of the story. And you're so inspiring because you did it. You had the idea, you got it up and going, and you had the right people in place. That was the difference. That was the difference. I did not have the right people in place, and I learned lessons. And it really has shaped who I am as a leader and being able to pour into women who have great ideas but struggle with getting it out of their head and into action. That is what I'm so passionate about. So hearing you say that is like, yes. I would love to stay in partnership and communication because that is what's going to help us push each other further. I mean, there's so much changing in the government and just in the world period, finances, things going up, and it's difficult when you're working a 9 to 5 trying to build something, just finding the capacity. Let's talk about that. What is it like having capacity to show up in your business and then for your other passions? So many women are multi-passionate but struggle with being able to show up.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I mean, my biggest, not secret, but tool that I have is I have lived in the same community for 21 years and I have my people. Like I have maybe 3 or 4 different groups of like my women, and we really share our lives. They're all cheerleaders for me. We all do this for each other. I was just with a group dinner last night, but sitting around tables with other women for me is the key to everything because we keep each other on track. We encourage each other. We are there every step along the way. And so when I have days like everyone else where I'm like, what have I done? And I just need to reach out to one of my people and they bring me back and remind me, and I do the same for them. But I've just lived my life in my community. I'm a very active member of my community. And for me, it's made all the difference in the world. I couldn't have done anything professionally I've done if I didn't have my people that I could call and vent to or cry or just ask for help. And so if you are struggling with something, go to your people. Like they always have your back, right? Your sisters or your besties, like those are my people, and I value and cherish those relationships. It's made a huge difference.
Your Share the Drop community, what does that look like? Is it a network within like a Facebook group? How do you all have community time?
Well, it's not we don't do it a lot. I would love for that to grow. I would love to add part to the app where you could have like open forum times or, kind of ask each other questions. But I love when I try to share when people reach out and say, oh my gosh, this is my story of why I needed milk. And, look at this freezer full of milk. So I try to put out those stories as much as possible. I would love to do like Instagram lives with people who have used the app and put them together on the camera. That would be great. But as we're growing, I put out call to actions all the time. Like, hey, did you use the app? Did it work? And as we're growing, I think that will just enhance. But I would like to focus more on, did you meet someone through the app and now a year later you're still friends? That would be my ideal.
What would you tell yourself in 2020? COVID hits now. All of this time has passed throughout the journey. What would you go back and tell yourself?
Well, I founded my LLC in March of 2020 because I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I would I would reach out and find more mentorship because I don't have a lot of fear and I just jump in. And in hindsight, I should have taken some early advice from people who actually made apps and ran them. But I would just tell myself, keep going. It's going to be great. Yeah, just do it. Like if you have an idea and you're so passionate about it, you kind of owe it to yourself to do it. Because what's the worst thing that could happen? I had to close my studio after a decade because of COVID. Well, I survived that. I survived breast cancer. I survived other things. Like, okay, just do it. Like it, because it takes that passion, right? I don't want to go take a yoga class from someone who's like, I'm so over teaching and I don't want to do this. Like your passion comes out when you're doing the right thing. And so, yeah, I would just give my 2020 self a pat on the back and just be like, keep going.
Now you're in a room full of moms. They have bellies out to here, but they're passionate, multi-passionate women. But this baby is coming any day now.
Yes.
What do you tell them? How do you, and now you're an entrepreneur. You've done it. You've created it. You can see it. It's tangible for you. What do you tell them?
I always tell women that if they leave the hospital, birthing center, wherever they had a baby, and they don't feel like a total badass, everyone has failed there. Everyone in that room has failed. Watching a woman become a mom, even if it's 2 or 3 times, it is so powerful. It's not, I kind of have gotten over the physiology of it, you know, how babies turn and all this. It's more such a wonderful, intimate thing that women are going to do 1, 2, 3 times in life. And I get to watch that. But any way you deliver your baby is so amazing to witness. So we talk about how you can stay calm and kind of what to expect. But I'm like, go with your partner. Don't call anyone when you're going into labor, like, because then your mom, partner's mom, all they're going to do is worry and bother you, you know, with texts and stuff. Like, go do this really sweet, intimate thing, meet your baby, and then call everyone later. Like, look who's here. Like, I know that labor can be difficult and women are worried about it, but you're going to come out the other end as a mom, as a maybe a third time mom, every time you have a baby, you're different and you grow, and it's going to be so cool.
Every time you become somebody completely different. I'm not the mom that I started out at 23 years old. I'm 38. It's a completely different story. And it's such a journey, a beautiful one. And your children, they teach you so much about yourself. So I'm so grateful for the journey. But now for you being in those rooms with those women that have had the babies and they may be on their second or third, but now you have to go back to living life, whether it's in your career or being a stay-at-home mom. How do you help them, or do you help them on their journey? I know you help them through the app. I know you help them as a doula, but now that capacity to still show up in life, do you help them in that journey, or what do you tell them? What's the advice that you give?
I spend a lot of time with my doula and prenatal clients talking about the fact that labor and delivery are the sprint. The marathon is that first year. And so I want my clients, while they're pregnant, I want them to be thinking, researching, planning how that first year is going to be. You know, we make birth plans. Why aren't we making postpartum plans? Why aren't we making feeding plans? And, you know, for me, I think that it's very important when you're pregnant to think about how you're going to feed. If you're like, formula, great. Do your research. What kind of formula do you want? Can you afford it? What ingredients? If you want to breastfeed, Well, if you've never done it, do your research. Go to a breastfeeding support class while you're pregnant so you can listen to what other moms are saying. Have a prenatal lactation consultant with an IBCLC. Like, plan for everything, because we kind of have the idea that like you make it through pregnancy and then the baby's here and then we don't plan. But like that's the most important thing to plan for. And so I want moms and partners to go to a breastfeeding class. I want them to do as much research to set themselves up for success. And the other thing is, like, we talk a lot about baby showers, and do you need 40 onesies? Do you need shoes? I know the baby shoes are really cute, but do you need shoes? No, what you might need is pelvic floor PT, postpartum doula. Like, could we think outside the box and start registering for like supportive services for the mom instead of the baby, right? The babies need a car seat, a safe place to sleep, a way to be fed, but they don't need all the stuff. Like, moms need support. And so we can plan for that before the babies arrive.
There should be so much more conversation on that, because how many people actually focus on the gender reveal and all of the fun, glitzy, glammy things of the baby is coming, but the support afterwards, when now it's just you and probably postpartum or just life happening, especially if you have two under two or any of those things going on in your personal life. It's difficult. It's
Yep.
very difficult. And it took me years to find myself after having my babies. Well, not so much my son. Like with my daughter, it took me years. As a first time mom, it took me a long time to figure out who I was again. And I was modeling, I was dancing, I was doing all this stuff, and all of that stopped
Yep.
immediately. So the support is very important, and there should be more conversations about what's out there. I didn't even know there was a support, a doula support. You said something to that effect. I didn't even know that that was something that you can have postpartum.
Oh, yeah.
Had you asked me that, I would have said, oh no, that's something while you're pregnant and throughout the process, once you have the baby, that's it.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
I mean, I have some friends who are expecting a baby, and she was like, my husband really has never been around babies. And so they have another friend that she's had 3 babies. So she's doing like little baby basics 101 classes with them. Like, come over, you're going to change her diaper. This is how you trim her nails, right? Like, but really like I think it's so cute. It's just such a funny like thing for friends to do. But like, if I was going to have a baby, I would sit with my girlfriends and be like, tell me everything. Like, give me your baby. How do I do this? Like, I just think like, yeah, families supporting other families is such a beautiful, fun thing. But also, like, you get real, if you're going to have a baby and you've never had one, talk to your friends and your family about real issues, not like what swaddle brand should I use, but like, hey, what's it really like to pump? What is it really like to store all these parts? Like, what is it really like not sleeping? Like, talk about the nitty gritty, because that's where it's not gonna, like, if we don't talk about it, it's still gonna happen, right? And then moms are alone at 3 a.m, wide awake feeding. Yeah, wraparound support, especially during that postpartum time, is crucial, I think.
Well, that is all I have. It has been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything that you would want to leave with the moms listening, the business owners listening, those that are aspiring mompreneurs? What would you share with them?
No matter what your idea is, someone will think it's brilliant. Put your efforts into what gets you out of bed every morning. Like, what excites you about the work you do, and you really can love your work. I just found that spending my career with women is what makes me so happy. And so every little thing I do has to involve that piece. And so figure out what your ideal looks like and write it down, manifest it, talk about it, because you can do anything you want.
You're talking my language, Miss Kelly Cox. I appreciate you so much for sharing your story, your journey, and for saying yes.
Thank you so much. It was lovely
You're
talking.
welcome. All right. This has been Moms Behind the Brand